Hi everyone. If you're a teacher, you know very well that unless you work for a governmental school or university, you will be working with several schools and courses because there is no fixed contract. And the problem is you will have to keep searching for some opportunities here and there to work and do what you have been trained to do. The problem is sometimes you may not work as much as your experience allows you to, or you may not get as many projects and groups that you think or that your experience and the years you have spent teaching are supposed to give you. So here I'm going to talk about some hints and strategies which I personally find useful that might come in handy for you in the future whenever you start cooperation with some schools or some courses. Now, just remember, these hints are based on my own experience. You can have some different experience. That's normal. So I'm only talking about what I have been through. And one more point. I'll be talking about real courses. I'm going to talk about professional courses, real courses, educational courses, not fake courses or courses that aim only to get as much money as they can from the students. Don't go far. I'll be right back. Hint 1. Be smart. Now, be smart by not showing that you are smart. Now you'll tell and speak in English. Okay. In English, whenever you join a new school or a course, you are likely to listen to the same lecture, to the same things, to the same words, to the same instructions, things you have been listening to for several years, things you remember more than you can remember your own name. It's normal. They will tell you about career growth, about the policy, about what they give to the clients, about how much they care for the students. It's normal. It's normal. Your task is not to show them that you know everything. Don't tell the boss or the senior teacher that, yeah, I've known that for quite a long time. Don't give them the impression that what they're saying is useless. Even though it is useless, or at least half of it. But don't show them that. At the same time, don't show them that you're completely fresh, that you know nothing. Remember, they don't want idiots. You can, for example, tell them that I've known that before, but thanks to you, I managed to fill in some gaps. Thanks to you, I managed to learn the things I missed in the past. Hint 2. Attend as many workshops and training sessions as you can. Schools and courses hold training sessions and workshops for old and new teachers alike. And attendance is important for two reasons. First, you need to show the boss that you are ready to acquire a new knowledge. You are eager to improve your methodology. You want to stay up to date with the new changes in teaching and methodologies. I know that some of these workshops may not be useful, or at least most of them may not be useful. I know that, yet you have to attend them. Imagine that it's one of the subjects you studied at school or university, which you knew from the very beginning you would never benefit anything from them, yet you had to attend them because you had to pass the test, you had to learn, you had to study, you had to have a certificate. Consider them as these subjects which you hate but you have to attend. We are talking about what's good for you, right? So this one is good for you. Boring, but necessary, important. The second reason is No matter how experienced you are, no matter how many years you spend teaching, no matter how many new things and new methodologies you have acquired, learned, applied during your lessons, you will always learn something new. And I say new, not useful, because learning isn't only about learning new things. You can also learn by being introduced to wrong options, wrong methodologies, wrong ways of teaching, and learning why they are wrong, why they have a bad impact on the students. The other point is that some of them, or some workshops, some training sessions will really be useful and will really fill in the gaps in your knowledge. Let me remind you again. Here I'm talking about professional courses, professional schools, professional companies that have been in the market for a long time. They are run by professional teachers, and just tell yourself, just think about that. Why have they been in the market for so long? The answer is they have been in the market for so long because they do have something. Not everything they say is useless. Sometimes they will surely and definitely tell you something really, really useful. So think about what's good for you and attend as many as you can. Hint 3, be patient. Sometimes your name will speak out for you. Sometimes your experience will do its job, and some courses will contact you and give you, or let's say pay you a good salary from the very beginning, from lesson 1. You'll really start with a well-paid salary because of your experience and because of your name. Unfortunately, this isn't always the case. It doesn't happen so often. If it happens, it's great, and sometimes it will happen. But it wouldn't always happen. That's for our bad luck. Whenever you join a school or a course, you will be under the radar for quite a long time. They will have to study you. They will have to see how you teach, what methodology you use, and your results. The results that the students have at the end of each course. You have to wait as long as you can wait. Wait. Because you need time and they need time. They deal with many teachers. And only the teachers who receive some kind of compliment and feedback from the teachers, not from the students, I'll talk about this point later in this video, will be rewarded with extra lessons or extra projects or groups. You will need time. You will need to wait until your name is big enough in the company or in the courses, and your name allows you to get as many groups as you need to have some kind of stable financial life. Just remember, they wouldn't give you 100 groups from the first day they meet you, while they have teachers who have been working for them for more than 4 or 5 years, and sometimes for a decade. Hint 4. Grab your chance. This hint is a mix of the second and third hint. As I mentioned before, most companies and schools deal with a lot of teachers, and only professional teachers and teachers who show that they are ready to grow take a big part of the cake. They offer some kind of observation or double classes. Always try to be involved in these observations or classes. Ask to observe and to be observed. Ask your colleagues and senior teachers to ask them to allow you to observe their lessons and to learn and to see how they teach and to learn from their methodology. And also ask them to come attend your lessons and observe your lessons, to see you how, or to see you in the classroom, to see how you teach what your methodology is, what your character with the students is. If they don't offer you, ask. Show them that you know what you're doing. Show them that you know why you're here. Show them what your experience is. Show them how you can make the best out of your experience. Try to impress them and keep trying and keep trying and trying. It might not happen from the first observation or from the second, but the more they observe you, the more you ask for observation, the more they start really trusting you. The more they really start believing in you. Don't worry, it will take some time, but it will eventually pay off. Hint 5. Don't count only on the feedback. Now, never think that if your students like you, you'll be granted with hundreds or even thousands of projects. Well, not exactly thousands, but, a lot of projects. Your boss and other teachers know very well that in teaching, the students' feedback is the last thing to be taken in account. We may fall in love with a subject because we like the teacher who teaches it, but that doesn't mean that the teacher is a good teacher. Well, they might be, but this is not a rule. The same applies here when dealing with these courses, because the way the students see the teacher is completely different from the way how other teachers see their colleagues, how they evaluate their success and their job. I'm not saying that feedback is important or feedback is unuseful or bad. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying that feedback is good, but in teaching, it's not everything. It doesn't guarantee you will have a lot of students or a lot of projects. Remember, in teaching, always impress the teachers, not the students. So, these were the 5 hints or piece of advice which I think might be useful when starting with a new school. Now, of course, I didn't mention everything. Of course, there will always be some extra hints or some extra piece of advice which remember, every experience is unique. Every person has their own experience, their own story, which I highly encourage you to share in the comment section. Some hints may be useful for some people, some hints may not be useful for other people. Remember, I talked about professional courses and professional schools, and something which is very, very important I want to draw your attention to, that sometimes none of these hints is useful, because, as I mentioned in one of my videos about the place where you live, I think you can watch it from here or here, either here or here. I don't remember. You'll find it. You'll see it yourself. Sometimes not only the hints themselves, but the whole teaching career in some parts of the world may not be worthy, may not be the best option, or sometimes it could be the worst option to have. So make sure you know where you live. Make sure you have studied your surrounding, the market, the people's needs around you before you make your steps into teaching career and before trying to use any of these hints or tips. Thank you very much for watching.